Today we're going to be making these really pretty and easy macrame 4-leaf clovers. Hi friends! So we're going to be making these really easy 4-leaf clovers, and you really don't need a whole lot of supplies for this. This project is really good for those scrap pieces of rope. You will need 9 strands of 30 inches of rope, scissors, hot glue, a macrame board, and some T-pins. And as per usual, I'll leave more details in the description box as well as some links. Alright, let's get started. So you want to take your first strand and fold it in half, and then you want to place its tail ends through the loop end. I don't know if you're familiar with crochet at all, but I like to call this the macrame version of the magic ring. With your next strand of cord, you want to fold it in half, and then place it under the bottom part of your magic ring. Fold it over, and then thread the tail ends through the loop. This is a reverse lark's head knot. When you attach your reverse lark's head knot, you want to attach them on the part of your magic ring that has the loop end and not the tail end. You'll see why that matters in just a moment. Alright, so with the rest of your cords, you want to go ahead and fold them in half and attach them using a reverse lark's head knot onto your magic ring. Alright, so the reason why it was important to attach your reverse lark's head knots on the bottom portion of your magic ring is because we need these tail ends loose so we can cinch it up tight. So go ahead and close your magic ring and cinch it really taut, that way you have a smaller hole in the center. But don't lose those tail ends, you want to make sure you keep those separate, and what I like to do is tie just a loose overhand knot. That way we don't confuse them with the rest of our strands of rope. And make sure you tie it loose because this is a temporary knot. Working with the 4 cords directly next to your overhand knot, we're going to tie a square knot. Make a loop with your leftmost cord and place it across the center cords. And then with your rightmost cord, you want to place it behind and through the loop of your left. Repeat to the other side, so make a loop on your right this time. And then with your left, you want to place it behind and through the loop of your right. Alright, so we're going to repeat the same thing directly underneath it. Make a loop with your left, and then with your right, wrap it behind and through the loop, and then repeat to the opposite side. If you find that I'm going too fast, feel free to adjust the speed of this video by tapping the 3 dots on the top right corner. Turn your work to the next set of 4 cords and repeat the same thing, tying 2 square knots on top of each other. Repeat the same process 2 more times so that you have a total of 4 groupings of square knots. This is going to be the base for each of the leaves of your 4-leaf clover. Alright, so you should have your 4 groupings plus your 2 strands from your magic ring. Now, as you can see, we have really skinny leaves at this point, so we're going to fix that and we're going to do it in kind of a clever way. Working on this first leaf here, what we're going to do is we're going to take these 4 cords, we're going to take the 2 center ones and cross them over. With the strand of rope that's now on your right side, you're going to make a loop, place it over top of your left strand and around and through that loop. And repeat 1 more time. This is a double half hitch knot. Next, we're going to do the same thing with that strand of rope that's all the way over on the furthest left-hand side. When you're tying this double half hitch knot, you want to tie it really snug up against your 2 square knots on the left side. Alright, so the left side's done. Now we're going to repeat the same thing to the right hand side. Your 3rd cord is going to be your filler cord now, and your furthest to the right is going to be the cord that you're going to tie your double half hitch knot. And again, keep it as tight to the side of your square knots as possible. Now, as you can see, we need to add a little bit more to our leaf to round it out. So what we need to do is add 2 more knots on either side. So starting with the 2 left cords, we're going to make a loop and wrap it around. And then instead of going over top, we're going to go behind this time and send it back down through the loop. This is called a vertical lark's head knot. Okay, so let's do the same thing to the other side. Make a loop and wrap it around and through the loop. And then instead of going over top, you want to make your loop underneath this time. Bring it down and through the loop. And that is your vertical lark's head knot. And as you can see, when you pull it upwards, it really fills out our leaf shape and rounds it out. But before we attach it, we're going to do the same thing to the other 3 leaves. Alright, so now each leaf should have kind of a T shape here and look absolutely crazy. But don't worry, trust the process, we're going to fix that. Working with the first section here, you're going to find the filler cord, which is the one that comes straight out to the side. You're going to take that cord and you're going to thread it right through the center of your clover. Then with your other strand of rope on that side, you're going to go ahead and you're going to tie just a regular overhand knot. That will secure your leaf on the left hand side. Cinch it up really taut, and now we're going to do the same thing to the other side of this leaf. So take the filler cord on the side and send it right through the middle of your clover. And then with your other strand of rope, you want to tie just a regular overhand knot. And cinch it up really taut. Now if your leaf curls around a little bit, that's fine. You can just go ahead and straighten it out. Alright, so repeat the same thing to your other leaves and flip it over to the back side. Alright, so what I like to do is to tighten my overhand knot a little bit before snipping it off. And you want to snip it off fairly close. And then seal up the ends with a little bit of hot glue. If you have fabric glue, that would also work as well. Alright, so snip off all the loose ends of your leaves and glue them down. Now all that we have left are our 2 long ends from our magic ring. Those long tail ends are going to be what is going to be the stem. So go ahead and untie that overhand knot and pin your clover down onto your board. Take those 2 long tail ends and we're going to tie alternating half hitch knots. So make a loop on your right hand side, wrap your tail end around and through the loop. Then you're going to switch it and make a loop on your left hand side this time. Wrap your tail end around and through the loop and switch. Make a loop on your right and switch. Now I repeated this 7 times, so I have a total of 7 alternating half hitches because I figured 7 is a lucky number and that kind of goes with the theme of our 4-leaf clover. Possibly a little too excessive on my part, but feel free to do as many or as little alternating half hitches as you like. Snip off the ends but leave a tiny little bit of a tail because when you go to hot glue it, you can fold that tail end towards the back. Now, if you enjoyed this macrame 4-leaf clover, I do actually have another pattern of a shamrock hairpin. I'll leave the link to that tutorial on the screen now, and I'll see you over there.